everybody, guess what time it is? Yep, I have reached 30 subscribers, or actually I've reached 31 subscribers, so you know what that means. I actually get to take you on a rig rundown and show you what I use. So let's get started, shall we? And first things first, pedals and amplifiers. And the pedals I use are a Vox Tone Lab EX with built-in wah, built-in effects, everything like that. And you know, as you can see, the switch is on back on here. The amp is on. I better turn it off. You see how it lights up and everything like that. And that is my setting. I always have it on bank 1. There are, I believe, 180 banks, I believe. I could be wrong. And then I'm always on bank 1 and modulation, or the second channel, which is my main distortion. And then I have an expression which is used for delay, which I have used in Wrong Side of Heaven. Only once. I have rarely used my delay in videos, but personally I always use my delay, especially when soloing, because I love how delay sounds with, you know, my playing. And then over here I have a Morley Classic wah pedal, and you know, it's a really good wah pedal, and it's not part of the Git rig yet because I can't find the cord. But like I said, it is Morley. You can see, and then it's the classic wah. It always stands right there next to my pedal because my pedal board looks really cool by itself. And you think that, you know, I'm getting everything from the Marshall. Well, nope. It's all coming from this 30-watt Johnson Blue Line. And oh yeah, this is in the way right now. I apologize. It's kind of in the way. This isn't normally there. Just going back behind here so you can get a better shot of the amp. Yep. Johnson Blue Line, and I'm using to record, and you can see up here on the amp. Well, it's not there now. It must have fell back. But I use this pedal comes equipped with auxiliary in. That way you can play your music through the amp. So you think that I'm playing after the track is recorded, or record first then play the track over me. No, it's all played live. And this microphone here is Audio Technica microphone. You can get at any Radio Shack. Has a headphone jack that you can hear what you're playing. I've only used that in Domino, the Destitute cover. I'm using a headset to hear what I'm doing, and then I figured out how to, you know, match the volume of the music and volume of my guitar without it distorting it. I know it distorts in the cover of My Weena by Bowling for Soup. And only in My Weena am I using this Marshall. My Weena is the first video I've used this Marshall in. And as for guitars, let's check it out. Alright, now for the guitars, and first starting up is my Ibanez G10 series. Has, you know, stock tuners on it, and you know, G10 Ibanez. And you've seen me use this in the I Was Made for Loving You cover. And this guitar, I've had it for, geez, about a year. About a year is when I've had this guitar. And it's my favorite color combination, black with silver pickguard. I love that combination. I love it. Has a tremolo on it, not a Floyd, I wish. Not a Floyd, but it has 2 humbucker, 1 single coil pickup, and a 5-way switch, and 1 volume, 1 tone knob. And you know how the switch goes to the non-musicians. If it's all the way down, this one's on. If it's, you know, up 1, these 2 are on. If it's up 1 more, just that one's on. Up 1 more, these 2 are on. All the way up, just that one's on. And I usually have it down, except when I solo, I keep it down. But when I get into the arpeggio solos and, you know, all that, I have it all the way up. And you know, it's just a real basic guitar. I love it. It has 24 frets, and this guitar stays in E flat. I rarely tune it up to standard, but I will if I have to. If I really want to use this guitar for something, I will tune it up to standard. But it's always in E flat, always. It's rarely not in E flat. Then this next one is yet to be in a video, and this one is my Razorback Dimebag guitar. And, you know, Dean Razorback Dime, or Dime Razorback, however you want to put it, has Grover tuners on it. You know, string through body. It has two volumes for each pickup and one kill switch, and then the jack, the plug-in or input, and it has the stock Dean pickups in there. And what exactly are they? I do not know, because I've never bothered to, you know, pull it out, look at the back, and then see exactly what kind it is. This guitar has some weight to it, you know, 24 frets. This guitar jumps from D standard to drop C. It jumps in between those tunings, and this guitar sounds real good in this tuning. It sounds real good in any tuning you put it in, but to me, I love it in D standard or drop C. But like I said, that is yet to be in a video. And this one is my second guitar that I've ever gotten in my history of playing. This is my second guitar. And honestly, my favorite of the collection that's been given by family. And you know, it has one tone, one volume, and a pickup selector switch, and it has a generic pickup in the neck. And it has, you know, well, you know, you don't know, but I'm about to tell you. DiMarzio Zebra pickup, and it has a Tunomatic, I believe it's called Tunomatic bridge, and this brand is S101 standard. They don't make these anymore. It's an S101 standard Les Paul, thin body, like a kind of like a studio. And I do plan on using this in the studio one day when I get a band together. You know, we start recording on tracks, and our tracks will be available on here if you're interested. And next thing is you've seen me use this guitar in Wrong Side of Heaven cover and lesson, and it is my Bronze by BC Rich, the Bronze Warlock. It's the cheaper series of the BC Rich, so you can't afford a BC Rich, just go with the Bronze series. There, it's a cheaper alternative, and this guitar does have 24 frets, and it just has stock tuners on it. And this guitar was given to me by a family member. I believe this is my third guitar I've owned. It has just it's really basic, just single pick, single humbucker, and volume knob, and you're good to go. Just turn it up and start playing. You know, start shredding your heart out. And you know, this guitar stays in. Well, this guitar doesn't stay in anything. It's actually my anything guitar, whatever guitar. It sounds real good in any tuning I put it in. And I believe that pickup is the not generic, but the stock BC Rich pickup, or Bronze pickup, whatever you want to call it. And you know, and when I first got it, see where the silver bridge pieces are? Those were the parts that were missing. These three pieces, and I went to my local music store, and so I want you to put the silver ones in there, you know, my color combination, black and silver. And yeah, and this guitar, I love it. I use it personally a lot. In videos though, I have to find a reason, and that guitar stays in drop B or B standard. This guitar you've seen in my, you know, shred lesson. It has yet to be in more videos. It is my Gibson Zakk Wylde signature Les Paul. See a nice little picture of Zach in the back. Has EMG 8185 passives. I never knew there were passive EMG pickups until I bought this guitar. And you know, it has one tone, one volume for each pickup. Like the top is for this one, the bottom is for this pickup. Has regular, you know, selector switch, Tunomatic bridge, you know, jack plate. And it has Grover tuners, good tuners, and you know the classic bullseye design of Zakk Wylde, classic, can't beat that. And this guitar jumps in between standard and E flat, and you know, like I said, you'll have yet to see it in more videos. And this bad boy is my favorite to use. Like, I don't have the Explorer anymore. I decided to part ways with it and get something better. And I realized the only Explorer I want to own is an actual Gibson. And then my honey actually got this guitar for me. She helped me get it because I traded the Explorer for this, and she took care of the rest of the remaining balance. This guitar is a part of her. Anyways, I love her to death. Love her very much. And this guitar has, you know, it's a Jackson Randy Rhoads, one wing longer than the other design. Again, classic. And it's all white, as you can see, with the black outline, which makes it even more badass. It has 2 volume, 1 tone, and a 3-way selector switch. And it has a nice, you know, Floyd Rose tremolo on it. And it has 24 frets, locking nut, Jackson tuners. And it's funny because my wife, her maiden name is Jackson. So she suggested we get this one, and I've always wanted a Jackson guitar. And I said, why the F not? Let's do it. Let's trade that thing for a Jackson guitar, and I do not regret it. To this day, I do not regret it. And this guitar was made in Indonesia, so it's the $600 guitar. It's not the American-made one, which is thousands of dollars, but I don't care. A Jackson is a Jackson. Still a good guitar. Nice. The jack plate and everything like that. And you will see this in a lot of videos. This guitar stays in standard all the time, and everything like that. It stays in standard, always will be in standard. If I change the tuning, it'll be a pain in the butt to do, but I will do it if necessary. And this guitar has been in the case for a while because, you know, there's no strings for it, and I have a funny story about that. And then we have my Schecter Diamond Series Elite. They don't make this anymore. It's the Elite 006. It has Grover tuners, and it has, you know, Seymour Duncan, a Seymour Duncan Screaming Demon for the bridge, and a Duncan Design generic in the neck, and it has a string through body. There are no strings on it right now. Like I said, funny story, I'll tell you that in a minute. It has a fixed neck, of course, and it's just a really cool guitar, and I like the design. I'm trying to get it in the light. It has a nice red flame top, and it's a really cool guitar, and I love it. And it has a volume, 1 volume, 1 tone, and a push, and the tone is a push-pull pot. That way, when I pull it up, it cuts these pickups in half and makes them a single coil. So if anytime I want, just pull it up, and I get a strat sound. Having a regular selector switch. And now for the strings not being on here, you obviously know this is the guitar I used in my Weena Bowling for Soup cover, and it was a special request by female fangirl of mine. Fangirl. But anyways, and she requested the strings from this guitar after I'd done that cover, and me being nice, I took the strings off and I sent them to her as, you know, something, a trophy of me, I guess you could say. I mean, I don't know. And then I have yet to change the strings. Haven't gotten to it. I might do that tomorrow because I'll have time to do it. And I'll do that tomorrow, buy some strings. And the strings I love to use are listed right behind me. They are Cleartone Monsters. They are SIT Power Wound, GHS Boomers, and Diodario XL. And I use, my string gauges go from, they jump around from 10 to 11 gauge is the strings I use. And why 11 gauge? Because you can tune them down low, and it won't make the strings feel like spaghetti strings when you're playing. They won't feel very loose. They'll stay, you know, real stiff, just like you want it. Just like you want the strings to be stiff to where you can bend them and not be bending them off the fretboard because they're so loose. I mean, that's a no-no for everybody. But yeah, I sent my strings off to a fan. And the picks I use are, well, I can use anything, but if I had to choose specifically, I choose, yeah, I got my little case of picks over here. Well, I don't have a pick to show right now. Well, oh, here's one. And the type of picks I love to use are these. Real thick. and they are called Big Stubbies. Purple picks, and heavy picks are recommended for beginners because it forces you to roll your wrists. And if you use a floppy pick, you're just I call floppy picks cheating picks. You know, because it's like when you're sweep picking arpeggios, you're forcing. If you watch them, they're rolling their wrist to get the sweeping arpeggios. And while some guitar players are just going up and down because they're using a floppy, really light gauge pick, and it drives me nuts because I'm like, all those guys are cheating. No offense to anyone who uses floppy picks, but I actually have one, but I never use it. Here's what I'm talking about. You see, like something like, you know, nylon, Jim Dunlop nylon picks. You see that? I call these cheating picks. And these were for my buddy. I always carry one for when he comes over and he wants to jam with me. We don't jam anymore, but anyways, because when the strings or when the pick goes down, it's slapping. You hear that? It's slapping the strings. It's not really plucking them like they should be. Now listen to this one. You hear the difference? Because these picks don't bend because they're heavy. I can't even bend it myself. They're that thick and they're that heavy. These are 3.0 millimeter picks. Is how thick the pick is. And then let's see. That's about it for my gear. Well, this has been my rig rundown, and I hope you enjoyed that. You can educate your guys, my subscribers, on what I use, how I use it, you know. And the editing, I use Dell Webcam Central to record, and I'm using a Logitech webcam right now at HD 1080p, you know, 1080p Logitech webcam, and I'm using right now a Snowball microphone to, you know, record my talking voice. And I usually use a Snowball to record my lessons because I can't zoom in on my amp, and you guys won't be able to hear me. And you guys won't be able to hear me if I, you know, have just my amp mic'd. But when I record, I use that Audio-Technica you saw there, which you can get at really any Radio Shack. And this is not an advertising video. I'm not advertising anything because I had multiple brands in here. I didn't, you know, block a logo. I didn't do anything like that. Watch, I do it again. Look, see? I love my Schecter guitar. Schecter. I love my Jackson. Love my Gibson. Love my S101, even though they don't make them anymore. And I love my Dean. I love my Ibanez. I love my Bronze. I love my Johnson amp. Nice try. Love my Johnson amp. My Marshall. Love it all. I'm not biased about anything. And let's see. Yeah, that's it. And you guys have fun and rock on. And I will see you in the next video. Which, a cover, I have nothing yet. If you want to drop something down in the comment section below, go for it. If you have a suggestion on what should I cover. I know someone said Breaking Benjamin. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Breaking Benjamin, and, you know, someone, I think, said System of a Down and all that stuff. Anyways, take it easy.